Judicial reform, positive judicial reform, doesn't always come from higher up down. Sometimes it's in the best interest of the society at large for judicial policy to be formulated from the bottom up. An example of this that comes to my mind is during the 60s, there was a homeless poor man in Florida named Clarence Earl Gideon. Gideon sometimes slept in the pool room where he worked. One time Gideon was arrested when some property was missing from that pool room. And out of that, he tried to represent himself, being a layman as I am, and he didn't have much success. From his effort, his spirit, and his fight for justice, we had a landmark case in the Supreme Court during the 60s called Gideon versus Wainwright. That set the scope and the sphere of Sixth Amendment rights, power of attorney across this nation. One homeless man's struggle. My name is Gene Rice. I'm a leader of the Civil Rights Committee of Picture the Homeless. I've been a member of Picture the Homeless for approximately 2.5 years. One of the main reasons why I stay with this organization, why I'm continuing to be proud to be part of this, is because Picture the Homeless is the only grassroots organization led by homeless individuals. I'm here this evening with members of Community Voices Heard in a joint venture to raise revenue for our brothers and sisters in Brazil, Congesto. And what we're going to do is go to Yankee Stadium. It's a sold-out game. The Boston Red Sox is in town, and we're going to retrieve all the recyclables that we can find, and we're going to contribute them at a nickel per unit to our brothers and sisters as a showing of solidarity. Is this the floor?
And get the sign where they have the Yankees.
We've known Gene probably about 6, 7 years.
We met him in the parking lot here.
Met him in the parking lot. He was here with his nephew, I believe, collecting cans years ago, and we just hit it off right away. We started talking.
We look forward to seeing him every day that we're here.
And we've kept in touch ever since. Even when we're not at games, we keep in touch with him.
It's working pretty good.
You go, man! This is what I'm talking about, teamwork!
When your cause is just, conquer you must. So we came up here for a righteous reason, and that's why God blessed us to be able to be productive. And I hope that our brothers and sisters in Brazil can feel our solidarity. And this is only an indication of what Fidel Castro meant when he gave the speech to the group of 77. He said the elite might control the means of production, but the masses control the labor. Here we are on Monday morning, September the 4th, in front of the ABA Beverage Company, me and my younger cousin Gene, and this is what we normally do. This is what it looks like for us on a Monday morning after a grueling weekend of picking up recyclable containers, and the only place south of Central Park where we can redeem them at, where there's no limit on the quantity that we can bring in, and that there's more of a diversity as far as the products is concerned. For those two reasons, this is why we usually find our way to this establishment every Monday morning at this time. We became more familiar with the canning community, and we saw the correlation between homelessness and the canning people. And then it was important to note that even though there was a lot of people out there canning, that they weren't mobilized or unified, and they didn't represent each other in a block. And that's one of the reasons why my cousin and I were attracted to Picture the Homeless, because we feel that through Picture the Homeless, we can unify and organize the homeless community around issues like the right to vote, and we can get our civil rights, not just the quality of law regulations that usually work against us, like the open beverage can, if it got alcohol in it, and public urination laws, but it's kind of disheartening to note that the city is not so quick to enforce our quality of life laws, and like enforcing the law against all the supermarkets and the establishments that sell these beverages. And the law clearly says that they're supposed to have a sign posted over the area where they take it in at. Otherwise, that's a penalty that they don't have to pay. And a lot of these establishments don't post a sign, and they don't adhere to the law, and they don't want to give candles after they work hard all night their $12 that they're entitled to every day.
These two check already?
Oh no, you didn't get there yet.
No?
That's it.
Right after 9/11, we saw increased displacement and harassment of homeless people, because during that time I was working with my cousin on a daily basis, and we used to stash our cans, our load, one block from here underneath the viaduct, and cops came and told us they didn't even want to see us in their precinct anymore. They followed us around for a whole day, and we were sitting by a public park over there, and the cop told us that the park wasn't public for us. In such spirit, Picture the Homeless last summer embarked upon civil rights surveys all across the borough of Manhattan. We dispatched teams of tubes to cover the homeless populations where we knew them to be, and asked them about how they felt and what kind of treatment they was experiencing under the outgoing Giuliani administration. And we collected some 513 of these surveys. We took those back to our office, and with the help of other people, we dissected them and categorized and evaluated them. As a result of those surveys, we came up with a practice that homeless people were being denied basic civil rights, such as the right to access public spaces that all of our taxes pay for, solely by reason of their being homeless. I remember when I felt real triumphant and proud was when the New York Civil Liberties Union announced that we had changed New York City's a police department's policy about how they treat the homeless population in public spaces. And to me, it was gratifying that our organization, that didn't have many numbers at that time, could impact on so many lives in a positive way. My committee responsibility with the Civil Rights Committee takes me into a lot of different venues, a lot of different issues. And one of the most rewarding things about Picture the Homeless is that my day-to-day activities with my group is never repetitious or redundant.
and I never know what to expect when I walk in my office, but I always know if I give my best shot, it'll have a positive impact. Well, one of the easiest examples to point out to you is that just as my cousin and I came on board with Picture the Homeless, the current mayor, Bloomberg, was contemplating rescinding the bottle law that would have took a lot of vital money out of our pockets every day. And Picture the Homeless was the only grassroots organization that we encountered that was fighting with us to keep viable and to make sure that we continue to get the revenue that you see us getting on a daily basis. And that's one of the reasons why we joined Picture the Homeless. And that load you see, he just pushed that all the way from the east side. And he's an example. He's an example of what we're talking about how hard some homeless people work. And nobody can tell me that that man is shiftless and lazy. Picture the homeless sitting here at the bag check station for the New York homeless population that pick up their mail at this facility. Picture the homeless is proud to say always flexible. We did not anticipate being bag checkers this morning. However, we are up to the task. Right here. This is living proof of one more obstacle that homeless New Yorkers have to go through, that everyday citizens of New York don't have to encounter. Being homeless in New York City is no easy task. Thank you.
The other way. Because the hat and everything. Can we go the other way? Can I turn them around?
What's up?
We don't want this background.
His crowd-stirring speech, a proud day for our organization.
I'm the secretary of the board of directors of a grassroots organization led and organized by homeless people, of which there are too many here as I stand before you today, called Picture the Homeless. I'm speaking here today in the spirit of my organization, our mission, and in the spirit of one of our co-founders, the late Louis Hagan. As we speak, the level of homelessness in this city has reached record proportions. Depending on new statistics we want to use, but Picture the Homeless is not about statistics. It will suffice to say there are far too many in this great nation. And I come here in the name of my organization to deliver a message to the status quo that though we have been marginalized, still we rise. Though we've been criminalized, still we rise. And though we have been dehumanized, still we rise. Picture the Homeless will continue to raise their voices on behalf of homeless New Yorkers until something is done about this deplorable situation. We know that this city and this nation can do better than that, and we will not submit to something genocide. Yorkers, homeless, have been harassed and displaced by the police department in order to make way for this current present Republican National Convention. Homeless New Yorkers on parole were told not to enter Manhattan for the next 4 days. A blatant violation of their civil rights, but they are here tonight and still we rise. The reason for the current housing crisis starts at the policy-making level. For example, currently there is no Section 8 vouchers for single people in this great city. It's appalling that the greatest housing subsidy program in this nation is not available to the neediest of its citizens. It's appalling. I think, matter of fact, I know that this great nation can do better than that. While empty buildings and warehouse apartments are left languishing, unoccupied, shelters increase, funding for homelessness increase, and the homeless population increases. Something is wrong with that puzzle and that dynamic. Funding, final funding, that should go to prevent homelessness is spent building jails and subsidizing the fat cats that own the SRO. This has got to stop. And then worst of all, to cover up the misguided policies, the homeless are blamed for their own victims, for being victims of this vicious cycle. It's almost like blaming a lady walking in Central Park for being there when she's raped. They're being, this is a problem, it has to change, and you're gonna help me change it. The homeless and the poor must be allowed to become involved in the policy-making area that impacts upon their lives. Because after all, they have the most to lose. The time has come and gone when bureaucrats that go to suburbs at night tell us where we're going to sleep, who we're going to pay, and how our money's supposed to be spent. The time is turned on for that. Tell them. And finally, what people are homeless in need to say today, and what y'all looking to remember, we want housing, not shelter. Housing, not shelter. Housing, not shelter. Housing, not shelter. They say genocide, we say, still we rise. They say genocide, we say, still we rise.
Hey, Gary, housing is what's necessary. Hey, Bush. Hey, Gary, housing is what's necessary. Hey, Bush. Hey, Gary.
Forgive me for interrupting, but I'd like to ask you, what brings you out here with Picture the Homeless today about this Section 8 issue?
Because I'm homeless. I have a Section 8. I have my Section 8 certificate, but it's a lot of malarkey because people are not honoring it. The landlords are not honoring it.
All right, what's your question?
What brings you down here today, sir?
The need for Section 8. Without Section 8, I cannot afford an apartment in New York City. New York City these days, you're talking about a $1,000 apartment in Harlem. You need to be making $18, $20 an hour to afford that. Most of us can't afford that. That's why Section 8 is necessary, so that people of modest means who are working people can afford to live in New York City. Homeowners get subsidies, landlords get subsidies, people who are of modest means, working poor, need to get subsidies as well in order to be able to afford New York City.
Sometimes in my leisure time, I walk some of the same streets that my mom used to take me down when I first came to New York, and I could feel her spirit, and I remember what it was like then, what the conditions were in those neighborhoods then, and then I think about how it is now, not only for me, but for my daughters, for my younger cousins, for my extended family, and through that kind of perspective, I can see that we have made a lot of gains. In 1944, when my family brought me here, my aunt and my mom worked between domestic jobs and in defense plants. And now I've got cousins that have went to York College. I've got cousins that have retired after a successful career with transit. And I remember when I first came to New York, Afro-Americans like me didn't get those kind of civil jobs. Visit where I have my New York origins at. Behind me, you will see where this project stands now. When I came to this block in 1944, none of this was here. In its place stood an old Harlem landmark that I miss immensely called the Savoy Ballroom, where during World War II, the soldiers and the hard-working people that worked in the defense industry to help the war effort used to get together on the weekend and really enjoy themselves. There was old black musicians such as Coleman Hawkins, Cootie Williams, long forgotten, that used to play in that music hall. And as I pass by here sometimes, I wonder why the people of Harlem allowed the Savoy Ballroom to be torn down. Truly, it should have been a historical landmark. And on this corner, where we're standing right now, I remember on VE Day, which is short for Victory in Europe, how the people in this block poured out when they heard that the Allies had been victorious and we had won the war in Europe. And they piled onto the police motorcycles, and there was such a celebration because everybody felt elated and gratified that the Allied war effort had been successful. And every time I walk through here, a replay of that flashbacks, if you will, seem to come to my mind. And this block is truly historic in my memory, and it motivates me to the present time. Okay, the building that we're walking toward now is the first building in New York City where I ever spent the night in 1944. It's presently under renovation, and some of the older families that have been in this building since I came here have now been relocated up the street while the renovation process is taking place. They have been promised that they will get first preference on moving back into this building once the renovation process has been completed. I hope that the victims of this building who are like my family the people who are like my family don't become victims of regentrification. And I hope that the old inhabitants of this building will truly get the first preference at moving back into this building because they're like my family. Some of these families have been here with me and generations since 1944 when I first got here. And we're coming up on the building now. This is 108-16, West 141st Street. Like I said, it's presently under renovation, but this is the first building where I ever spent the night at in New York City in 1944. As you can see, it's a very sound physical structure here, and my family lived in apartment 52 on the 5th floor, and my aunt who we're going to visit lived in apartment 72, 2 flights above me. To me, it's great that we got the opportunity to come up here and film this because so far regentrification has not had a major impact on my block, like so many blocks in the neighborhood have been victimized, and a lot of the older residents have been displaced and warehoused in other less suitable housing. And the blocks around me have been destabilized during the regentrification process. And I'm proud to say that my block is one of the last ones still standing with a lot of the same families that were here when I came, still present and still residents in this block. It's like one of the last strongholds of the old generations that were here in 1944 when I came here. And I'm proud of my block for that reason. Again, we're standing in front of 108 West 141st Street. And the reason why this building is significant to this documentary is this is the building where I became homeless. My late aunt, Willie Brown, was a tenant for many years at apartment 52 in this building. And somewhere between 1982 and 83, she was tragically murdered by her goddaughter about a drug incident. And after that time, because my name wasn't on the lease, because my family didn't see me fit to go through that formality, but as long as my aunt lived here, I always had my room. So because she died and I wasn't on the lease, the city took my apartment from me, and that's how I became homeless in New York City.
That set me to kind of thinking about a book I read one time by a Frenchman named de Tocqueville, and he was sent here to the United States to write a treatise on what he thought about democracy in America. And when he wrote his final work, he stated that he thought that democracy should be measured, the amount of freedom should be predicated upon how much freedom the least lowest citizen enjoyed. And I would say if we use his measurement, de Tocqueville's measurement right now, our city isn't very free. And with that, I also say that each time a homeless person's civil rights, civil liberties is transgressed upon, and other residents of this city feel that it doesn't affect them, I beg to differ with them, because when one of us loses a civil right or civil liberty, it makes all of us less free.